Strange New Worlds proves that Lieutenant Commander James T. Kirk, Paul Wesley, was a bit of a bad influence for Lieutenant Montgomery Scott, Martin Quinn.
How about you? You want to join me for a drink?
Me?
By the time of the original series, Scotty, James Doohan, will have taken over as chief engineer on the Starship Enterprise, eventually earning a reputation as an engineering miracle worker. Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 8. 4.5 Vulcans offers insight into the earliest days of Kirk and Scotty's friendship. In 4.5 Vulcans, Captain Christopher Pike, Anson Mount, and 3 of his crew members transform into full-blooded Vulcans for an away mission, but things get complicated when they cannot immediately reverse the transformation. Before long, Lieutenant Kirk arrives on the Enterprise to spend his downtime with the ship's crew, and he and Scotty find themselves trying to prevent Vulcan Lon Nunyan Singh, Christina Chong, from starting an intergalactic war. Kirk and Scotty's interactions throughout 4.5 Vulcans are some of the best parts of the episode, and Kirk clearly makes an impression on Scotty, for both good and ill. Strange New Worlds made Kirk a bad influence on Scotty. Kirk and Scotty having drinks in Strange New Worlds 4.5 Vulcans. When Lieutenant Kirk first arrives on the Enterprise in 4.5 Vulcans, he encourages Scotty to call him Jim, considering their shared near-death experience in Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 6. The Zealot Who Ate Its Tail. Kirk encourages Scotty to be less formal and more laid-back, taking him to the port galley to have drinks with Lon. Back in Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 2, Wedding Bell Blues, Scotty remarked that he's not really much of a drinker when offered a drink. This contrasts sharply with the Scotty of the original series, who had a particular fondness for scotch, but it turns out Kirk is the one who introduced Scotty to his drink of choice. By the end of the episode, Kirk and Scotty are back in the port galley, reflecting on their experience over glasses of scotch. As Kirk holds the cold glass to his bruised head, Scotty suggests going to sickbay, but Kirk replies that he prefers the scotch. Scotty responds that he could get used to it, and by the time of TOS, it will become his favorite drink. Everyone on the Starship Enterprise drinks, not just Scotty. Strange New Worlds dinner. Of course, Scotty is not the only Enterprise crew member who enjoys a drink during his downtime. Captain Pike regularly holds dinner parties in his quarters, where he and his crew members share drinks, and the port galley always appears to be busy. None of the ship's crew members seems to have any problems with alcohol, and sickbay could likely provide quick fixes for drunkenness or hangovers if necessary. By the 24th century of the next generation, synthesized alcohol known as synthahol will have replaced real alcohol on most starships. While synthahol is meant to taste the same as regular alcohol, it lacks the intoxicating and addictive effects. When Scotty visits the Enterprise D and TNG's relics, he immediately recognizes something off with the synthesized scotch, prompting Lieutenant Commander Data, Brent Spiner, to introduce him to one of the non-synthaholic products. Guinan Whoopi Goldberg keeps behind the counter. Scotty's love for real scotch is well documented, and thanks to Strange New Worlds, it can now be traced back to none other than James T. Kirk. Thanks for watching.